Hi everyone, welcome back to class. Today I want us to delve into SQL, right? And begin to learn how to query our database to extract uh, some data that we intend to use for our analysis, right? Like we should have learned or we have been learning as a data analyst, there are several ways of collecting data, right? I mean, what you work with is a data and the data needs to be collected, right? Can be collected through various means, right? Some data are collected um, using questionnaire, but then the common ways to collect data is to adopt the use of some specialized data generation system, like the use of an ARP, for example. Um, some common ARP are SAP, right? Microsoft Dynamics, and also some common HR software helps you to generate HR data, right? The common one is the Bsoft HRM, right, which will help you to keep your data, and you can go there. The data are kept in a particular database. Then, as a data analyst, you go ahead to query those databases and extract those data that you intend to use for your analysis, right? SQL in itself means the structured query language. And what it means is what I just explained, to extract data. Right? SQL is the database, but then MySQL is um, MySQL Workbench rather is the applications wherewith you can, put in your queries and connect to the database. Right? Today, let's go into details um, in a very short time. Um, as soon as you launch into your MySQL Workbench, like I have, on the screen, the first page that it brings you into is the welcoming page that you are seeing on the screen, right? And what you do from here is to connect to the database where you want to begin to query. And to connect to that database, right, uh, you look at this database tab on these ribbons in the SQL, select the database tab, right? Yes, and you see connection, go straight to connection, and this dialog box, you know, will come up. It's the database. I mean, it's not compulsory that you have access to the database, but then if you don't have access, you just speak with the data administrator of the organization that you intend to work with to get the access. Put in you answer these fields, yeah, the password and all. And once you say okay, get access to the database and you can begin to query the database. Meanwhile, for now, what we will do, because there is no database that we want to connect into at the moment, while installing this SQL, if you don't have the SQL in your system or you have issue installing it, please drop it in the comment box. I'm going to attend to you, possibly schedule a good time with you to take you through the processes in downloading my SQL workbench that will work for you. Then, if you have it already, you have my SQL installed on your system. While installing, one of the things you will install together with this workbench is a server, right? Where which you will have access to an instance, a database instance that you can use, for practice. And to go straight into that instance, you come directly here. You can see this local instance that we have here. Click the local instance and it will launch you into the actual MySQL workbench, right? It's leading us into it, right? And here we are in the MySQL workbench. right? The MySQL workbench is divided into what I will call four major partitions, right? Aside this top where we have several tabs, and in the tab ribbon at the top where we have several tabs, right? We have the file, edit, view, query, database, server, tools, and scripting and all, right? Maybe I will schedule some other time to discuss each of these tabs. But for now, I want to lay emphasis on these four partitions. We have this navigator, the navigator part. We have the actual workbench. The workbench is a part where you put in the query and then you question the database to extract the information. And we have the this we call the MySQL addition, right? And the action output. This is where you get the result of what you have done, right? The navigator is also divided into two. We have the administration and the schema, right? The administration is contains several tabs, right? Several menus where the database administrator, you know, can perform its own operations. But then, it's not very useful for us. I mean, permit me to say that for if what we are doing is just restricted to data analysis. What you actually need is the schema. Schema is another name for database, right? And then once you come to the schema, you have access to all the databases that you've been working with on the system. For my system, for example, like you are seeing, I have the awesome chocolate. I have another base database or schema called Sakila. I have soft view analytics, right? I have um, I have Word, right? Before you would begin to work on the workbench, which is this, you will need to activate the actual database that you want to work with, right? And that is why you are seeing soft view analytics activated. That's where I'm doing all of this stuff. If I want to work on the Sakila, I'm just going to double click it and you will see Sakila, activated. To know that it is activated means that uh, it is the Sakila itself or the database is written in a bold text, right? Very dark bold text, and then you will see the tables and all of that, right? But for now, let us just assume that you have no access, you don't have your system, you have just downloaded the MySQL and there's no database, right? I'm going to introduce you to a platform, I mean, where you can, um, where you would be able to download sample databases, right? Sample data, SQL data that you can bring import into this uh, instance and begin to work with. So I'm just quickly going to take us to uh, that platform, the website. It is called Learning Container. So just come to your browser and type learning container.com. Yes. In learningcontainer.com, you have access to several data, all kind of data types, right? Data files. You can see we have sample files, file details and all. If you come down, you will see video files for those that work with videos. You see document files, right? All of them here, image files. But we are going to be working with a code file. And if you check under the code file, you see MySQL, which is what we need, right? So just come straight down to this part, and then if you scroll down, you will see several data samples, SQL data samples that you can work with, right? Let's pick one as random. Let's say we just download uh, this. It's downloading already, right? So you just do that on your system, and let's get access to the database to work with. I haven't done that, right? To import the database that you have just downloaded, the data, right, the data sample that you have downloaded into the instance for you to use. right? You will come to look at the tab ribbon here. You will see server. Select server, right? Scroll down to data import, right? Select data import, right? It will take you to this part where you'll be able to download, uh, you'll be able to import the data you have downloaded, right? Uh, there are two options in here, right? Make sure you are under import from disk. You will see import from dump project file. That is not where we want to, go to. So also you will see import from self-contained file. Select this option and come straight to this more options where you have dot dot dot. Select it and then it will take you to where you would be able to download. It will take you to your system, right, where you'll be able to select the just downloaded file, right? Uh, I'm going to take this awesome chocolate to be my newly downloaded file. Just double click, right? After double clicking, down here there is an option, that will help you. Just come down here. I think it is covered here, right? Okay, come straight to import progress. Then at import progress, you will see the option down here, start import. Select this option and wait for your sample data to download. Wait for your sample data. It is downloading as you are seeing, right? As soon as it downloads, you will see it scrolling like that. All right, the bar is full, so showing that our data is downloaded. Then you can come down here, look at this option, it means refresh, and refresh it. Refreshing it means that the data you have selected, the data sample you have selected must show on this schema among these options that you have here, right? I have imported awesome chocolate. That's what I I imported, not the exact one that we downloaded, right? Come to that data and double click on it to activate it, showing that we want to work with this data, right? Ensure that it is activated and the text are written in bold, bold text, right? So guys, that you come down to see the table, right? Select the table, the drop down arrow, and see the options are there. So this data sample that we have selected has four different table, right? SQL table in it. So we'll be working with this data, right? In this class, to do some things in this class, some of the activities that I'll be showing you in this class. So I want to believe you have done the same thing. Is the first class that I'm taking, introducing you into SQL, right? We're going to stop here for now for you to perform this operation. Take your time to download the SQL workbench. Take your time to download uh, a data sample from the learning container or uh, other resource center that you are familiar with. Import your data into the my workbench, my SQL workbench, and then join me in the next class as we dive into um, the creative understanding of using the MySQL, using MySQL, right? If you have not subscribed to this channel, I urge you to press down the subscribe button and put on your notifications because this is going to be a very smooth ride for you and giving you the whole understanding of how SQL work. Thank you once again. We'll meet in the next class.